Race 1 of the third round of the BNL Karting Series is underway. And here we go, it's Senior Rotax. Heat 1, Groups A versus B. Here's your starting grid. Pole position is going to be Dion van Werven, and it's an all-Dutch front row with Jot van Wijk alongside. Austin Lee and Enzo Dickenberg will be on row number 2. It's an all-French affair on row 3 with Paul Fauquemin and Pierre-Louis Durgat. Then we've got Mitch Haynett and Jaden Teen on row 4. Completing the top 10, it's Australia's Kamal Murad and Scotland's Lewis Gilbert. Ivar Agnostiidis and Matthijs Turlo will be on row number 6. Rune de Broeke, Sverre Ubben, Simon Perigny, Bas Janssen, Scott Westhoven's Louis Grimaupont, who's had a shout out by someone who's supporting him on the YouTube channel, with Faisal Al-Yafal and Badr Al-Suleti completing the 20-strong grid. 7 minutes plus an additional lap of this circuit here in Ostricourt will kick-start the racing action. And you all watching at home, a big thank you to everybody that has subscribed to the BNL Karting Series channel so far, because we are very, very close to hitting that magical 4-figure bracket, 1,000 subscribers. So please like, share and subscribe if you get the opportunity, and get yourselves involved in the chat as the racing gets going. So as I said earlier on, we will have the fact that it's 3 heats per person over the course of the day. And after that, we will then have our intermediate classification after the heats. So the ranking after heats will then decide who will be where for the pre-final and the final tomorrow. So the drivers getting into formation ahead of the first heat race of the day here in the Saturday afternoon sunshine here at Ostricourt at Racing Kart JPR. The drivers exit out of the final corner. Here we go. Are we ready? Are we steady? Lights are out. We are off and racing, and a good start by Van Werven as he leads the field into turn number 1. Great start by Austin Lee as he stays in third position. Oh, someone's gone grass tracking on the outside of turn number 3 as they head into the infield section for the first time. 2-3 abreast. They've got to keep it clean, keep it nice and purposeful on the apexes, through the braking zones and exiting out of the corners. Kamal Murad looks to have dropped a couple of positions, but at the minute, Dion van Werven still leading the way as we are fast approaching the conclusion of the opening lap. Jot van Wijk in second, Austin Lee in third. Now that has changed because it looks like Paul Fauquemin has gotten through. Lewis Gilbert is hot on the heels. There's the Alpine Racer livery of the number 396, Ivar Agnostiidis from Australia. After the opening lap, Van Werven leads by just over a tenth as they are line astern going through into the fast sweeper at turn number 1. Dickenberg, I think, had Scott Westhoven's up the inside. That was a battle for 12th place. And now the lead has changed. Now it's the switchback. Van Werven goes wheel to wheel with Jot van Wijk. Fauquemin is right over the back bumper. He's going to look to go up the inside of Van Wijk. Gets through. Gilbert gets through. And now Van Wijk is coming under attack from Austin Lee, who's looking up the inside. Now he makes up a positional change. So after 3 to 4 corners, and now Fauquemin goes for the lead, gets it. Gilbert up the inside of Van Werven to try and go for second, but the Scotsman denied. So Fauquemin hits the front. Van Werven trying to defend against Gilbert. Austin Lee rounds out the top 4. Looks like Mitch Haynett has got a real turn of speed on that TB kart. And he's right behind Jot van Wijk, who's swarming all over the back of Austin Lee. As we now come round the final corner, Fauquemin has expanded a little bit of a lead over Lewis Gilbert. Van Werven goes defensive on Austin Lee, heading into turn number 1. Van Wijk, Mitch Haynett, Kamal Murad, Matthijs Turlo, Ivar Agnostiidis and Jaden Teen round out the top 10. But Fauquemin leading the way. That gap is starting to expand. That's going to be north of 7.5 tenths of a second if Dion van Werven is not careful. But it's not Dion van Werven, it's Lewis Gilbert. Oh, bit of a send there from Mitch Haynett. Kamal Murad looking up the inside of Jot van Wijk too. not able to get through was the 3:48. And he's got Mathis Turlo, who now makes a return to the championship once again. 4¼ minutes still to go for Quemin, as we've got yellow flags out. So someone might have just gone off the circuit. But Paul Forquemin leading the way on home soil. But Gilbert is closing. Gilbert's just put in the fastest lap of the race as Van Wyk up the inside. And Mitch Haynett, Kamal Manad gets through. So does Mathis Turlo. One wrong move at this circuit here at Austricourt, and you are at the mercy of the opposition. Kamal Manad round the outside of the 905 of Mathis Turlo, not able to get through. Mitch Haynett manages to get past the Australian to retake position. This is going to allow Jaden Teen to close on in. He's not that far behind them. Halfway through the race, Kamal Manad up the inside of Mitch Haynett, all straight on. Straight on goes one of the carts. That's the 3:53 of Scott Westhoven's. A little bit of a gesticulation by the right hand of the Dutchman, as that's a lunge and a half there. Jaden Teen, third different team now. He's been with RR Racing now, and he's been with JJ. Now he's with Dan Holland. He made the switch just before the International Trophy earlier on this year. But Lewis Gilbert is still closing in, and Paul Forquemin for the race lead. 0.2 of a second separate the two. Nice little exchange at the back end of the field. That was between, I think, Faisal Ayefel and Louis Grimaud-Point, and Grimaud-Point got through. There has changed. The lead change has happened. It was only an eventuality. The pride of Scotland, Lewis Gilbert, through on Paul Forquemin. The 3:16 from Caf Motorsport now leads the way with a bit of Potenza waft alongside him on the right-hand side of his chassis. Through he goes into the the very hard braking zone, into a tight right-hander, into the left, now into the next right. And it's the same again before they come through. Now it's pedal to the metal out of the final corner. Lewis Gilbert leads after lap 5 and now has a gap. That's nearly a 5.5 second swing between Forquemin leading at the beginning of the previous lap, and now Lewis Gilbert leading, but Forquemin is starting to close on in. Van Verven holding station in third place, ahead of Austin Lee. Sverre Ubben now up into 10th, past Simon Perligny from France. So this is going to be very, very crucial indeed on how you get your Saturday off to the best start possible. Through they go to the far part of the circuit here at Austricourt. And Gilbert really relishing the opportunity to be at the front end of the field. For those that I still remember when a certain young Scotsman, who was a lot shorter than what he is now, is very much a person that's been with this championship for a number of years. All the way through the ranks from juniors right up to the current day. Austin Lee looking for the opportunity to get through on Dion Van Verven, but at the moment the 377 on the CRG chassis doing a very, very good job. It's one of the fastest privateers out there is Dion Van Verven, qualified for Team Netherlands last year at the Grand Finals. But Austin Lee just getting closer and closer still. 372, based in Germany these days, doing a lot more racing at the Motorsport UK British Kart Championships this year. Really expanding his repertoire as a racer. So this time around, it's going to be the penultimate lap of this opening heat here at Austricourt at Racing Kart JPR. Gilbert leads the way by 2.5 of a second. Forquemin, Van Verven, Lee, Van Wyk, Turlo, Haynert, Ubben, Manad, Perligny round out the top 10, and unfortunately Jaden Teen is a mechanical retirement, but there is the lead change eventually now. It was only a matter of time when it was going to happen, but will that happen again? Because Forquemin ahead of Gilbert. Bumper to bumper between the two as they make their way through the main parts of the infield section. As Gilbert looks to the inside, they sweep into the left. He has to go back onto the racing line, but he's just going to wait for the opportunity. He's going to try and look to the outside to get the undercut through in the corner, through that right-hander, now into the left. Timer has expired. One more lap to go after this. And there's the lead change. And that was the second from last corner by Lewis Gilbert. Last lap board is out. Gilbert leads going on to the 9th and final lap for Quemin. Under a 10th and a half behind him. Right underneath his exhaust pipe was Paul Ford Quemin, and he got a full head of speed coming out of turns 1 and 2. He's looking to the outside. Gilbert defends. Van Verven has got Austin Lee up his inside. Through that right-hander into the next left. Van Verven will go back onto the racing line and thereby keep a hold of third. This is also allowing the likes of Jort van Wijk and Matthijs Turlo to close on in. It could be a 5-way scrap right up until the checkered. As Lewis Gilbert sternly defending, making that rear bumper on that OTK chassis as wide as humanly possible ahead of Quemin. Could be top 6 as well with Matthijs Turlo waiting in the wings. Jort van Wijk battling away, but it's going to be out of the final corner. It's Lewis Gilbert, the pride of Scotland, that takes the opening race victory. It was a drag race to the line for second and third. Paul Quemin still edging out Dion van Verven, who completes the top 3. Austin Lee, Jort van Wijk, Matthijs Turlo, Mitch Hainer, Sverre Ubben, Simon Perigny and Kamal Murad round out the top 10. Bas Janssen, Ivar Anagnostiidis, Enzo Dickenberg, Bruno de Broeke, Louis Crimopont. Then we got Scott Westhovens, Faisal Al-Yafel, Badr Al-Sulaiti, and Pierre-Louis Durka that round out the 19 that finished all 9 laps of racing. Unfortunately, on lap number 5, a sudden retirement for Jane Teen from the Netherlands.